You want to know who was in attendance at Game 3 and Game 4? And no, I'm not talking about E40. I'm talking about somebody who's actually worn the uniform, Oakland's own. And still, let's be honest, the Warriors' own. Juan Toscano-Anderson, JTA, joins us right now here on Willard and Dibs. JTA, how you doing, man? It's great to hear your voice.
What's going on? I'm doing very well, man. Enjoying my off season so far. Got to catch some good games up at home, so all good things so far. How you guys doing?
Man, we're doing so good, and I like this is the first question I have for you. Now, as a member of a different NBA team, what brings you still to the Warrior games in this situation?
Well, there's two parts. I mean, obviously I'm from there, so I was back home, caught some games. I mean, I'm a lifelong Warrior fan, so even though I'm not on the team, their competition, I'm still a fan. But secondly, and probably most importantly, just the environment that they create. It's like once a Warrior, always a Warrior. So, I mean, they welcome me back with open arms. Just come and they hosted me very well. I have a lot of great things to say about my visit back home. So it was a lot of fun.
What was your pulse like and your heart? Because all of us watching on TV, those of us who couldn't be there, that game got crazy. Steph calls timeout. They don't have any. The Kings on a 4-0 run on one possession. What were you thinking watching that whole thing unfold?
I mean, it was an exciting game. That's what playoff basketball is. I was very surprised by, the mistake, but they pulled it out, and that's what good teams do. And so Sacramento Kings are a really good team as well. But, after watching Game 1, I did the post-game with Festus, Bonta, and Mully, and I said, this team is capable of running 4 off in a row. Now, is that going to happen? No, but they are very well capable of. And so they kind of making me look good, with my remarks, winning 2 at home. So, they just got to go on the road and handle business. But they're very capable of doing that. They're a championship caliber team, well coached, and amongst many other things.
JTA, I'd be very interested in your X's and O's analysis here. Not so much, can they win 4 in a row, championship DNA. We know those things, but now that you've watched 4 games and you're someone who played against these teams this year, break down what you see that's happening in this series and therefore what you might think is going to happen next.
Well, they're putting together, certainly the Warriors, they're putting together some really good defensive, segments. And I think that's what you have to do when playing against the Kings. Obviously, they score at a very, high clip. So that's what I seen when I was back at home. I'm really impressed with, Dante DiVincenzo. With Draymond being out, I think he really stepped up to the plate. And I'm not talking numerically. He made a lot of big plays that don't really show up in the stat sheet. Like I said, with Draymond and GP being out. So I have to commend him for that. And obviously Loon, I just been looking at the box score, and it's Loon's 12-plus rebounds, 10-plus rebounds. He's been dominating. That's become a regular thing for him. But 20 rebounds in a playoff game, is big time. So they're just dominating certain facets of the game, making it tough for D-Fox, but still, eliminating some other guys. They eliminated Keegan Murray from one game. I can't remember what game that was. He had 1 point. He's a really big part of what they do, the Kings do offensively, knocking down open threes, amongst many other things. So, there's so many different parts of the game that I saw, but those are some key things that stand out. D-Fox is going to get his numbers, but if you can make it tough for, all the supporting cast around him, then you have a really good chance of beating the Sacramento Kings.
Let's go back to Loon for just a moment, and only 14 rebounds yesterday, which, what a big disappointment.
Only.
I know he's only averaging 17, JT, over his last 2. But what is Loon like in terms of the way he approaches the game? And maybe tell our listeners a little something about Loon that as his teammate that the fans don't really appreciate.
It's like Groundhog Day, for Loon. Every day is the same. He's never too high, too low. He's just like that. I've seen some, interviews that Steve has done and, spoken, very highly of Loon, and I have to, piggyback on that. Loon is the ultimate teammate. Like I said, never too high, never too low. He's somebody you can kind of count on when you need some balance in your life, when you need to, settle down, emotionally, on the court, off the court. He's a really great friend. He brings so many things to the table outside of, just basketball. So, like I said before, I'm very glad that he's getting his flowers because he definitely deserves it. And, he's been a very vital part of, this championship success that the Warriors have had. I don't think it would be too crazy to, one day possibly see Looney's number be retired, up there in the Raptors. How many championships does Looney have? 3, 4 maybe?
Yeah.
So
3.
3, that's still a lot. And to be a part of this dynasty. So it is great to see, man. Looney's a great guy. He's the ultimate teammate. I think the Warriors have really gotten a steal, with Looney because he deserves so much more. So I'm really happy for him.
Juan Toscano-Anderson is here with us on Willard and Dibs, 95.7 The Game. JTA, you mentioned a bit ago how surprised you were with the mistake the Warriors made there in that final minute. I'd love the players' perspective because Steve Kerr said, no, my fault. I forgot to remind them. But what responsibility is on a player in that situation to know what the timeout situation is?
I think the responsibility is on everybody. That's why you have communication with the team. Sometimes as players, and I can't speak for Steph, I don't know, but sometimes we get lost in the moment. Sometimes we get so excited, we forget to look at how many timeouts are left or, shot clock or where we're standing, et cetera. There's so much happening on the floor. So I think collectively it's everybody's fault. And, they still pull the game out, so big deal, whatever, it's come and gone. But I think that's on everybody. Everybody has to, take some accountability in that part, whether you're on the bench or whether you're playing. Everybody should be communicating those things, but sometimes it happens, and it is what it is. Like I said, they still pulled the game out and got the win. So whether it's an ugly win or a pretty win, a win is a win.
Oh, it starts with W and it ends with N, and it just is so good. You're right, Juan, depending on how you want to look at it. So 2 games for the Kings at home, 2 games for the Warriors at home, everyone holding serve. What do you think of the final 3 games, most particularly Game 5 in Sacramento? Do the Warriors have any momentum, or does it not exist in a series like this?
I think they do have momentum, but also, the Kings are a really good team. They were what seed were they? Number 2, number 3?
3, yeah. 3 seed.
Yeah.
They've been in the top of the standings all season long, and, that's for a reason, because they've been winning games, but more importantly, they've been handling business at home. You can't be one of the higher seeds if you don't win games at home. And so it's really hard to say because I feel like speaking so highly of the Dubs, I would be, dismissive of, what the Kings have done and what Mike Brown has done and what they're capable of as well. However, I just saw today that D. Fox may not, be playing. So, with that type of blow to their offense and their team and, the momentum the Warriors have right now, the experience, most importantly, that they have, Game 3 is very winnable. And, once you win Game 3, you go back home, and we all know what the Warriors look like at home. So, a lot of these games have been must-win for the Warriors. I think Game 3, no matter what happens, is a must-win for either team. Whoever wins this next game, I think, is going to win the series.
Interesting. That's an interesting comment. Juan, I wonder this. You're a guy who certainly is not afraid to mix it up down low with everything going on in an NBA game. We've seen Draymond get suspended. We've had talk about Dylan Brooks, Joel Embiid, everything. There's so many eyeballs on this one subject. What are your thoughts on it and the way that it's being handled?
I don't know how to approach that question because I don't want to end up with a fine or something.
Right.
But I don't know if Draymond should have been suspended. Maybe I don't even think he should have been ejected. Honestly, I think if I'm a ref, I'm looking at the instigator who started it and okay, how's the response? How it could be perceived amongst many other things. So I probably would have just gave him a flagrant 1 and warning and. Let them continue to play. Everybody knows playoff basketball is chippy. Everybody's trying to win. So some plays are dirty. I'm not too into non-basketball plays, but sometimes it's there's a saying, don't start no stuff, won't be no stuff. So I feel like sometimes guys end up on the wrong end of the stick when they are trying to aggravate somebody or doing certain things. But there have been some plays on both sides of, the ball from both teams that have been like, that's a hard foul or this, that, and the third. So, it is what it is. You got to play hard, to win. I just don't respect, the fouls that could potentially injure a player. We want to keep it clean, keep it tough, but, keep it basketball, most importantly.
Yeah, how do I know you're talking about Dylan Brooks without you mentioning the name Dylan Brooks? It's kind of where I'll go ahead and take that one for you, JT. Hey, Juan Toscano-Anderson here on 95.7 The Game. You played with Steph. You spent some time with LeBron this year. What do those two super mega stars have in common, and how are they maybe a little bit different?
They both in common their approach to the game. Just from a mental standpoint, most importantly, their preparation, the way they take care of their bodies, and the way they work out as well is just different. These guys, they're the best in the world, some of the best to ever play this game for a reason. They're very great leaders. I commend them both for how much they take on. From just the weight of the world, a media standpoint, expectations of them. That's hard to do. To be so good at something, arguably the best at something for so long. So it's been a pleasure, to share experiences with both those guys. To call both those guys a friend. I have a lot of admiration for them as basketball players and as businessmen and as black men. So, like I said, it's been a delightful experience, to share the court with those guys.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ, FM and HD1 San Francisco, always live on Twitch, YouTube, and the free Odyssey app. And we're talking with JTA, Juan Toscano-Anderson. Okay, so within the last calendar year, you've played on both those teams. If they play each other in the next round, who you got?
Come on, man. You really asking me that question?
Yeah, I'm really asking you that question.
Well, that's an easy answer for me. I'm a Warriors fan, man. I'm from Oakland. The Warriors are my team. I got a lot of great relationships with a lot of people in that organization. Not that I don't have great relationships, with people at the Lakers, but I was able to spend much more time within the Warriors organization. I spent 3 seasons up top, 2 seasons in Santa Cruz. So, a lot of people that I spent time with in Santa Cruz are now up top with the Warriors. So it's a different bond, and then, being at home, it's just much different. So I think I've pretty much answered your question with that
one. No doubt, Juan.
Yes, sir.
And that's not surprising to me. I remember covering your games at Castro Valley High. I actually did play-by-play when you took on San Leandro. And so for me, proud to see how far you've come. But I looked at your bio. You're 30, JTA, 30 years old. Have you had a chance to really take a moment to reflect on just your journey from 95th all the way to Castro Valley and Montero Middle and now into the NBA?
You know what? As of lately, I've been doing that. Because now it's kind of like I'm on the outside looking in, and when I say outside looking in, I'm not in the playoffs, and I'm watching all the teams, compete. And so it's giving me time to reflect and giving me time to just slow my life down and just, be thankful for, everything that's transpired over the last 5 years. Everything happened so quick for me. So I wasn't, going home, playing at home, it was a big whirlwind of emotions from myself, from my family, friends. Every time I was able to see somebody, it was like it was the first day all over again because everybody was so excited for me and I was excited for myself. So, as of lately, I have been able to do that. I'm actually going to take a vacation in the next few days, and then I'll see how I feel after that, after, giving it some thought, no phone, no interaction with people, and just enjoying the off time that I have.
Couple things on that, JTA. So you're reflecting on, it almost sounds like making a decision. What are your thoughts? I know you're free agent. What are your thoughts on what's next?
Well, I don't really know yet. Free agency starts in July. I'm open to great situations, healthy situations, situations I enjoy. Like you said, I'm 30 now. I'm getting a little older, so I just want to enjoy my journey. You never know when your career will come to an end, whether that's by, injury or just by, not getting a contract. So I mean, I would be open to, a lot of different teams without being too specific. But, I'm just going to remain optimistic, stay in shape, and, be ready when, the opportunity presents itself from another team or Utah if Utah decides to retain me.
And then the Oakland roots that you always speak of, and we noticed the hat that was on your head during Game 3, an Oakland A's hat. What are your thoughts on what is currently taking place with that franchise?
It sucks. I mean, I look at it from two different perspectives. I look at it from a perspective, from an Oakland native, and, I still have residency in Oakland. All my family still lives in Oakland. The Oakland A's, the Raiders, and the Warriors have been everything to us, as I'm sure, other sports teams are for people in other cities. So it sucks. The teams being there provide a lot of, entertainment, jobs. It helps the economy in Oakland. It keeps kids, having something to look forward to do, go to games, try to stay out of trouble, some positive role models in the city. So that part sucks, seeing them leave. However, being in the business, around the business, understanding that we live in a capitalist world, that pretty much everything is about business and about money. So I understand. I mean, if I was the owner of a sports team or a CEO, I would look for the best opportunity for my business to thrive. Unfortunately, the A's, the Raiders have not felt like that's been in the Bay Area, or Oakland. So it's unfortunate, but I get it. There's two sides to the coin, so I'm upset about it. But like I said, I understand. I get it. Yeah,
and I am kind of in the same boat, having lived in Oakland for 20 plus. But if the A's do wind up in Vegas, do you still ride with the A's, or do you become a fan free agent at that point?
You know what, man? I said that about the Raiders. After they left to Vegas, I didn't watch one NFL game for a whole year, but I couldn't see myself rooting for another team. So I gave in. I'm a Raider fan at heart, so it doesn't really matter to me anymore. So to answer your question, no, I would never root for another baseball team. I am Oakland A's and Warriors till I die.
Love it.
Yeah, so Garoppolo, right? You know what I'm saying?
Am I right?
Hopefully, he can do some good things for us. I'm excited about it. Hopefully everyone else is. I think, the Raiders are a dope-ass organization, black and silver, get to play in Vegas, got the best fans in the world, new stadium, so a new arena. I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully he can do some great things for us.
JTA, man, so much fun to catch up with you. By the way, your teammate Lauri Markkanen was just literally moments ago was named the NBA's most improved player. What do you think about that?
Oh, man, I'm so excited for him. He deserves it. Like I told him when I got to Utah, it's crazy, the narratives that people, make of you. And sometimes kids don't, get a chance. I mean, I think that young man is 25. When he was in Cleveland and in Chicago, people were saying he was a bust. And now he's killing, all-star. So he's well-deserving of it. He's a great guy, has a lot of talent. I think he can really, take the Utah organization to new heights. And so I'm really excited to be playing alongside of he as well. I've been very lucky to, share the court with some great talent. So, congrats to Lauri. I'll have to shoot him a text and say congratulations.
JTA, nice. Man, I can just tell you, we have our YouTube feed has a little chat window. And my gosh, the people listening to this show right now are sending you so much love. They love hearing your voice. You're always one of us. And so I just want to speak for all of them and pass that along to you as well. And thank you for coming on and talking to us.
Oh, man, well, send my regards to them, everybody in the Bay, Warriors fans. When I was a part of Dub Nation, well, I won't even say those words because I am still a part of Dub Nation as a fan. But, when I played there, it was amazing. And so thank you to all of them for all the love and support. I appreciate it.
Warriors for life is what they're saying, JTA, and that's the sentiment from all of us.
For sure.
Hey, man, thank you so much, JTA.
All right, I appreciate y'all for having me.
Anytime. You're always welcome here. Juan Toscano-Anderson joining us right here on 95.7 The Game.